It was when I was a kid that I learned that the Lynx had returned to the Jura. This news was the stuff of dreams. I imagined myself tracking it, hiding, and observing it. Just after arriving in these mountains, I started crossing its peaks and valleys in search of the feline. I've been tracking it now for years, and I'm only just starting to understand the life of one of Europe's most discreet animals. Everything begins in the mating season. I've been following this male for a few days now, and he hasn't stopped calling. In this season, people say the lynx is singing. The mating season is almost over, and given the size of his territory, it's not certain he'll find his female. What an amazing encounter, observing these generally solitary and ever so discreet animals together for a few moments. Their territory is so vast that they may not see each other again for several months. Before the lynx returned, the forest had stopped renewing itself. Deer and chamois gathered in herds to feed on young shoots, which slowed the growth of trees. That's why foresters wanted the return of the feline, to reinstall the predator's essential role of controlling the number of herbivores. In the mountains where the lynx prowls, the forest has rediscovered its spirit. Even though it only eats what it needs, seeing the lynx I know taking a life is a reminder that nature isn't a fairy tale setting filled with adorable creatures. The struggle for life or death is present everywhere. In this early spring, the valley is resplendent. The herds of herbivores have dispersed, and buds and shoots are growing vigorously. Wood grouse and hazel grouse, rodents and pygmy owls, all of this wildlife is taking full advantage. To observe it, it's my turn to blend into the undergrowth and become invisible in a game of hide and seek with these timid creatures. The lynx, of course, is the real expert at this game, and I don't know when I'll next see him. Thickets of rosehip, hazel, beech and honeysuckle are impenetrable in the spring. I'm having a hard time trying to locate the female, and it's simply by chance that I finally come across her. On seeing her rounded belly, I realize she's not looking for food, but for a den to give birth in. As I haven't seen a lynx for a few days, I wait close to its prey. Every day, I expect one of them to appear. The chamois start whistling, sending the alarm. The male isn't here by chance. He has come for the newborn. He is the decider in natural selection. The least attentive, the least adapted, and the sick will be the first to be gobbled up. He knows his territory back to front. The habits of his prey, the ideal ambush spots, the places where they rest. He knows how to interpret whether a new scent is that of a prey or an intruder. In even more inaccessible terrain, among the rock faces, I discover another predator. While the forest is the domain of the lynx, the sky is that of the peregrine falcon. This bird of prey almost disappeared too, but it's now protected and has returned to nest in the cliffs. I explore every valley and find myself at the foot of the tallest pine in the Jura. This tree, hundreds of years old, has a long history. It has seen the destruction of the forest, its rebirth, and the return of the first lynxes. And it's very close by that I make my greatest discovery. Although the lynx happily shares the forest with humans, maternal instinct urges the mother to change dens if proximity becomes too risky. But the loggers are too focused on their felling to notice anything. Here, pines, spruces, maples and ashes are controlled and selected. The loggers spare the old dead trees, which provide a habitat or food for fauna. They take only the finest trunks in modest numbers and leave an uneven forest top to enable life to prosper. This is known as a managed forest. Although the humans have gone, danger still lurks. Like me, this vixen is on the lookout for the lynx. But for her, it's a matter of survival. Since the birth of her kittens, the mother can't wander too far from her den. This reduces her hunting territory. Both deer and chamois are used to her presence, making it more difficult to take them by surprise. But the mother is experienced. This is the first time I've managed to see the mother with her kittens again since they left the den. At 2 months old, they're now able to follow her, to discover new smells, new noises, and new tastes. The mother is very attentive to the very independent female kitten, which likes to explore the surrounds. As for the two males, all they can think of is playing. This is the father. I've never seen them all together. I wonder what role the male plays in protecting the young. I get to know the male better, his habits and his regular appearances. Now I get to see him once a month in strategic places. He patrols to check the boundaries of his territory. He knows its every detail. The trunks where he sharpens his nails, the bark where he rubs his cheeks, and the tree stumps where he marks his territory. I realize that this forest track, which I've taken thousands of times, marks an invisible boundary. A barrier of sense, which the male keeps a close eye on. This is the one-eyed male, the neighboring lynx. He regularly patrols this border to check whether the area is still occupied. The scent is fresh. It would be dangerous to venture any further. Losing another eye would be fatal. But I know that the pressure is still on the father of the kittens.